Jedi Fallen Order is the red-haired stepchild of EA Star Wars. Because it's a game that's just good, with no bullshit. Except maybe Star Wars Squadrons, but come on, no one cares about Squadrons. And the Battlefront games, while I like Battlefront 2 in short bursts, it's putting it lightly by saying that it was controversial. Fallen Order just came out and was really good, and there was nothing obscene wrong with it, like microtransactions and stuff like that. And it's a completely single-player game. That is what makes it the red-haired stepchild. And yes, I know, the protagonist is a ginger. I'm sure Coppercap jizzed his pants all over that.
Gingers have souls! I go to church, I'm a Christian.
Jedi Fallen Order is one of my favorite games, so sit down, shut up, like, subscribe, share, comment, give me all your money, send me pictures of the front and back of your mom's credit card, and watch this video of a Star Wars fanboy review one of the few good things that came out of Disney buying Star Wars. But I mean, the old LucasArts would have probably had a lot more good games made. Premise: it's a post-Jedi world, a post-Order 66 world, set between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope, I think. But of course it is, because the fans totally don't want you to explore a different time in Star Wars. But no, let's keep doing stuff around the movies for the fan service. You're a former Jedi in hiding on the planet Bracca, working as a scavenger, tearing ships from the Clone Wars apart for scrap. Your name is Cal Kestis, and an accident leads to Cal using the Force to save his friend, which then leads to the Empire coming to kill or kidnap Cal. Cal tries to escape the Empire and it's not going so hot until he gets rescued by another former Jedi named Seer, and a ship captain named Grease. Together, they set out on the quest to help Cal find the soul. Yes, okay, I made the ginger joke and it was hilarious, let's move on. No, really, they're gonna find some Jedi holocron that has the location of all the Force sensitives in the galaxy. And they're gonna find that and then rebuild the Jedi Order. Did you know that every third-person melee combat game is actually Dark Souls? Yeah, this is also Star Wars Dark Souls, because it's a third person and a melee combat game, even if it plays totally different than Dark Souls, has a different feel and completely different gameplay goals even. This isn't Dark Souls. I would maybe let you get away with calling it Sekiro, but even then Jedi Fallen Order is far more of a platformer and the combat in the game feels different. While yes, parrying in both games depletes a stamina bar, still, they feel different, and I'm gonna throw away the shadow of FromSoft and talk about the game as its own thing. So what's the gameplay like? Well, starting off you don't have a lot of the very fun tools except the lightsaber, so let's start with that. A big problem I have with this game is that for the most part it feels like you're actually using a glowing baseball bat rather than a laser sword. Because the only thing you dismember are robots and I guess this oaf of a creature. Remember in Jedi Academy when you turned on dismemberment and how awesome it was to cut all those stormtroopers to pieces? Yeah, it was great. But apparently kids shouldn't see how disastrous and deadly swords are. Hey, those gore videos of dumbasses playing with swords gotta come from somewhere. Other than that, fighting with a lightsaber feels very good and the animations look awesome. Especially the execution where Cal cuts a robot in half. You start with a normal attack, a block and a dodge. Block at the right time and you parry, causing damage to the enemy's stamina. Doing a normal attack will also deal damage to their stamina because enemies block, but you can find gaps in their defense to land an attack on their health bar. What those gaps are, I have no idea. It just happened for me randomly and I didn't really notice a pattern. So yeah, break stamina and you can do damage to their health. Oh right, you can also freeze enemies with the Force. And when you do that, you can hit them and deal damage to their health. Am I over-explaining the game? Well, I'm in too deep, can't stop now. You can also unlock a heavy attack. It's not really a heavy attack, it's more of a force-infused lightsaber attack. Like you force dash and then hit an enemy. As you play the game, you unlock more fun tools like force push. There are few things more fun than throwing stormtroopers off a ledge, or throwing rockets back at troopers. That feels pretty good. Then you get force pull. You can also use pull to make people fall to their deaths, but pull has this awesome thing where you pull them to you and then stab them in the stomach. Love that. The best one is the combo of pull and push, like pulling a probe droid to you and throwing that at other enemies. The force interactions are certainly weaker than Force Unleashed, but they're pretty good and I guess more lore accurate. As you progress in the game, Cal Kestis' lightsaber becomes the coolest lightsaber, because first it becomes a double-sided lightsaber that's meant to be used for crowds of enemies, and the heavy attack there is the spin that decimates enemies. But then it becomes this thing where he can take it apart and bam! It's two lightsabers now that are very good at breaking enemy defenses. I'm a big fan of utility, and this lightsaber has tons of it. I also really like when Cal does the saber throw, he only throws one of the sabers. The bottom line, in combat you have a lot of options in how you will approach enemies, and you will need those options because you have a decent enemy variety. It's generally animals and stormtroopers. When I deal with animals, I like using the single blade lightsaber because it does a little more damage and feels like it has more range. And for stormtroopers, the double-sided lightsaber, because it's more likely to hit multiple enemies, and it's great for dealing with trooper blasters, because the double blade can deflect all the shots that come at you. Then you get those purge troopers. I never really developed a strategy except just throwing them off a ledge. Otherwise, just try to block and break their defense. They are a very good enemy. They really put you on your toes. They are aggressive and switch up their attacks to mess you up. To conclude the combat, it's really good. They did a great job of making it look cool and feel engaging. My only real issue with it was getting the parry timings right. I had a real difficult time with that. I don't know if it was some input delay on my controller or just something weird with the game. But I would press block right before an attack and then it would still hit me. So it's either an input delay or the parry timings on Jedi Master difficulty in this game are really weird and off. So I mentioned it's a platformer, which means climbing sections, wall running, jumping between platforms and swinging on ropes. That is generally how you get around, and that part always feels good and executed in an engaging way. There are small moments where it's pretty much just moving the left stick forward, but most of the time you have to pay attention and do the right button inputs at the right time. So it's fun, and it would need to be fun given the amount of backtracking you have to do. Well, not exactly backtracking, but more like going back to a place you've been before because a new path just opened up to you because you unlocked something new. Like you unlock force push, now you can break down a wall in that place you were earlier. And you need to go there because either you're gonna find a secret which increases either your healing stim, health or force points, or you will find a crate with some customization options for Cal or his little droid companion, BD1. I have never in my life wanted a droid more than how much I want BD1 as my personal robot. Such a cute little guy. Useful too. He has the healing stims and he can hack doors. Plus he can scan some stuff for free XP. Beep boop, my little guy. But back again to the platforming. The most challenging stuff you will face here are these sliding sections, and that's really just timing your jumps right and maybe using the force. It's not hard, but it keeps you awake. It's 4 planets you'll be exploring and coming back to once you get more force powers. They did a good job with shortcuts, so you never really have to run around an exhausting distance just to get to one crate. But there is some running, so maybe fast traveling would be appreciated in the sequel, so I don't have to lounge about in elevators so much. Story. Good voice acting, good movement on the characters during cutscenes, the story really is just good. When I first played it, I was surprised that it wasn't hot garbage like most other stuff that comes from Disney. There was never a moment where I thought, oh, this is stupid and dumb and makes no sense and I hate it. But there were 2 moments that I thought, oh yes, this is good. And I'll put that in the spoiler section. My only real problem with the story is that it's set in a time around the movies. Can we just move on from them and do something new? Hey, maybe flesh out the Knights of the Old Republic timeline a little. But the Coder reboot is probably setting that up. Maybe. Hopefully, if it's good. And because it's set around the movies, there is a distinct lack in Jedi and Sith. And what I really want from this game is more Jedi fights. I don't want to fight some kind of weird dragon thing on Dathomir. I want to be a Jedi dueling Sith, or vice versa. I guess I'll just have to stick with movie battles too, which still has an active community, by the way. Such a great game. The best Star Wars game. If Jedi Fallen Order was during the Knights of the Old Republic era, or whatever, there would be more Sith to fight. But no, let's have it in the movie era so we can have fan service. Spoiler section, let's go. 3, 2, 1. Okay, the good parts. I really liked the Order 66 part.
No!
And then the Force vision where Cal sees what happens if he takes the holocron. And then the fan service. Darth Vader. Yes, Darth Vader is cool, but come on, let's make a new one. We've seen enough Vader. I'm just really starting to hate fan service in everything because there just seems to be so much of it. And like, oh, remember this old thing that was cool? We're bringing that back because we have no creativity anymore.
You have failed me, Inquisitor.
Avengers!
Conclusion. Oh, something good happened at EA Games? It must be Respawn Entertainment. Yeah, it's a really good game, and it's the only really good game that came out of the EA Star Wars exclusivity. And finally, that exclusivity is over, and we're getting like 6 new Star Wars games. Personally, I'm keeping my eye on the one made by the Uncharted people, and the strategy game, and of course, Jedi Fallen Order 2. But for now, Jedi Fallen Order is the best modern Star Wars game, and honestly I don't have a lot to criticize, other than the fact that at one point the BD1 hacking stopped working, and I had to restart the game to make it work again so I could open this door I wanted to get past. It's a very well and tightly designed game. I give Jedi Fallen Order 9 midichlorians out of 10 sad George Lucases. Was it worth it, George? Did you like Disney shitting all over your ideas? Did you like what Rian Johnson did? Did you enjoy it when Luke was a sad, mean old man? Did you like the space kamikaze? The Emperor came back. Would you have done that? Hey, at least people appreciate the prequels in comparison, so you have that. Call me Uncle Bryan, and may the 4th be with you.